Looking more like a motor all the time. Okay, it is the next day here real quick, and today is a big day. I'm gonna sit this head on it. So we got everything ready to go. I think that's my next step, is to put the head on. These gaskets, head gaskets, the book says there's two different types of head gaskets. One of them you're supposed to put on dry, and the other ones you're supposed to use the head gasket material, and this is the stuff that I've got. I've used this in the past. I really like it. I've never had it fail, and the one reason I really like it is it's so easy to work with. You just spray it on and it leaves a nice even coat. See how nice and even that is? And so it says to let the solvent dry out of it before you put it on. It's pretty cold in the shop here today, so I'm going to give this a few minutes. To one thing that we did with these bolts, these head bolts, we chased those holes with a tap when we had the engine all apart and cleaning them up, and then I cleaned up these threads and everything real well as well, so that when we torque them down, there's not any junk in there to cause us problems. Okay, what I'm going to do here, torque these head bolts down now, and you can see the manual gives you a sequence of the way to tighten them. And if you ever don't have this sequence, they're all pretty much all the heads I've ever seen. The whole idea is to start in the center and work your way out on them. So if you ever have to do a head and don't have the sequence, just start in the center and work your way in a circle out towards the end. And 110 foot-pounds is what it's telling me to do here. And so I'm going to start and go down about 60, get the whole thing snug down about 60, and then we'll turn the wrench up to 110 and finish it. Okay, from there I'll just turn up this torque wrench to 110 and go over it again. So I torqued them 110 all through the sequence, and then I came back a second time after the whole thing had been squeezed together at the 110. I came back a second time and they were just slightly loose, so I redid them all again a second time at 110 just to make sure it's squeezed down there like it's supposed to be. I've got these push rods laid out here in the order where they go back in, so I'm just putting a little drop of oil on the bottom of them. So on the diesel version of this motor, just putting a dab of assembly grease on these valve stems. But on the diesel version, we've got these valve stem caps that have got to go on there. And the book says to be certain that they will rotate. Make sure everything's loose. And now it is the rocker arms. The torque specs on this rocker arm assembly is 35 foot-pounds. Boy, that doesn't seem like much after doing 110. So what I've done here is adjusted these valves. The intake valves 0.014 and the exhaust valves 0.022. And since I don't have all the parts to put my front end together here, all I've done at this point is turn this cam and adjust the valves, and that's going to get us close enough to put things together and to get it running. I'm just trying to do everything I can while I'm waiting on these parts for the front end of it. But I've got the valves adjusted now to the point that it'll run, and then you have to re-torque the head after you've warmed it up, and we can readjust the valves at that time. So with this valve cover, I'm going to put it on, but I'm not going to use any thing on. I'm just going to put that gasket on dry because we have to pull that thing off again after the motor warms up and redo it, so I don't want it sticking when I pull it apart again. Well, I had a really good day today. Look how this thing's looking. looking more like a motor all the time. So what I've got now, waiting for this part still to come in, the other balancer shaft like that, the one that goes there, so we can't put the front end together. And we've got some new umbrella seals and stuff ordered for the injector pump, so we can't put that in quite yet. So the only thing that I've got left I can do until our parts come is the oil pump. I can get the oil pump put in down there, and then the other thing I've got to get in there and adjust the clutch. So those two items I'll get done. I don't know if that'll be enough for a standalone video. And then we're going to be held up for a little bit until we get our parts in on this project. So appreciate you guys watching, and please like and subscribe.